Welcome to PR Powerhouse, helping female entrepreneurs to get in the press and to gain PR. I'm Jo Swan, and I'll be sharing how to harness the power of the media to boost your credibility and business visibility, no matter what stage in business you're at. Because I'm on a mission to show you that PR is not just for the big boys. In this show, you'll learn how to reach out to journalists and own your place in the press, because you are ready to become a PR powerhouse.
Hello, and welcome to episode 20. Oh my God, I can't believe we've got here. Episode 20. How exciting. So this was my original plan, to get you to the end of 20 episodes, whereby you would then understand how to harness the power of PR, how to become a PR powerhouse, how to get your head around the fact that you are massively PRable, how to get your head around the fact that you are PRable no matter what point in business you are at. And this brings us nicely round full circle actually to what I'm going to talk to you about today. Now, today's episode has been spurred by actually a real frustration of something that I have come across this week. And I want to talk to you about this in today's episode because it feels like that it gives me a chance to kind of reflect on some of the things that we've already mentioned, that we've already discussed, that I've already wanted to share with you, and just do a nice little wrap up of where we're up to in terms of really getting you to get to grips with the fact that you are 100% PRable, even if you are a startup. So, this all comes from the fact that yesterday I read a business article that, do you know what, I don't even think you could call it a business article, but it was in quite a prestigious publication. And I read it because it was a really interesting subject line. So I fall for that just as much as anyone else does in terms of a good headline does suck you in. So it was a really interesting headline about building credibility in your business. And I thought, oh, let's see what they've got to say about this. And what then I ended up reading made me super cross. So it was an article about startups, and it was basically saying what you needed to do when you were a startup. So what were some of the first things to consider? And it was talking about how being a startup meant that you were effectively starting from scratch, which, number one, made me cross, because I don't believe that when you're a startup, you're starting from scratch. So it got my goat from the beginning, just its tone in terms of the fact that it was talking about you are almost starting from square one when you are a startup business. And for anyone who has ever heard me talk about supporting startups, you know that I 100% disagree with that, because I don't believe that you are starting from scratch, because you're not your business. So when you are starting out in business, you already have so much to bring to the party. You have so much to bring to the table from your journey, from your life experience, from your corporate world, from the previous roles that you've had or the previous businesses that you've had. You are absolutely 100% not a blank piece of paper. And it gets me really cross when people suggest that that's the case, because we don't need any more encouragement to talk ourselves down. We don't need any more encouragement as startups in business, as small business owners, to talk ourselves down and to give imposter syndrome that kind of lease of life. Like, we don't need any more opportunity for that to happen. So when I see media actually referring to startups in this way, it gets me really angry, because it's just feeding our fears already of not feeling good enough. And I just don't think that that's right. I 100% believe that you are already powerful as a startup, that you are credible, and that you are PRable no matter how old your business is, because people see you and not your business. That's what people care about. That's what people connect to. That's what people engage with. They engage with you as an individual, and that 360 round version of you, not just you as the business owner, and certainly not just the business. I'm going to read you the line that actually did really get my goat, and just see how you feel about this. So the line went, Your personal credibility has a big impact on your success in the business world. Unfortunately, when you are just starting out, you don't have much credibility to speak of, so you need to work on building it. Now, I know you could say that I'm jumping the gun here, that I'm jumping to conclusions and that I'm overreacting in terms of what they're actually saying. So yes, they are saying that you need to work on building your credibility when you're a startup business. And I agree with that to a degree, because yes, you've got to prove that you've got credibility in that space, but you don't necessarily have to work on building the credibility. I don't believe that. I believe that it's already there. What you actually have to do is work on illustrating that credibility. So I could sit here and say, oh, yes, that's definitely the case. That's why you need PR. You've got to build your credibility from day one. And to a degree, there's a tiny element of truth into that. But what I'm trying to get at is actually where you're up to is you have stacks of credibility. You have so much to already offer. What you need PR for is you need to be able to illustrate it. So our clients are kick-ass already, whether they have been one day in business, whether they've not even launched their business, whether they're 10 years in business, it really does not matter. It's their journey that gets them there that brings the power. And it's the journey that gets them there that the journalists and your audience are interested in. Now, since I've shared a little rant about this on social media, I've had quite a lot of people come back and say, oh, thank you actually for making this post, because it's really made me think, and it's made me realise that actually I have done this. I have played myself down. I did buy into this message that actually as a startup, I'm not ready to be credible, that I'm not allowed to be credible, that I'm not in a position to be credible. And so therefore, it's made me feel like I have to build up from the beginning, that I have to start from scratch, and that I'm not in a position of power. And helping people see that that is just not true, that is just not the case, has been really powerful and really enlightening, because what they've now realised is that that's total nonsense, that they are in a position where they're bringing a lot of skills and knowledge to the table to their new business based on their overall life skills, previous experience and journey so far. So let's just reflect on 3 key things that you can tell yourself when you are doubting yourself as a startup. Number 1, being a startup, having a startup, creating a business is a story. There are numerous publications out there. There are numerous online resources out there focused purely on startups, focused on telling the story of new business owners, sharing the journey of startups. Being a startup is a PR story in its own right. And think about it, you're actually in the minority of people. So actually setting up a business puts you in the minority, because this is not what the majority of people in the world do. The majority of people are employed. So remember that makes you special in your own right in the first place, and be reassured by the fact that, you know what, there are multiple places where as a startup you can share your story, and you are encouraged to do so. That means that you're PRable from day one. So I will share a few of those links so that you can have a little explore and see what those opportunities are to get that profile out there from day one. Number 2, you are a startup in business, not in life. And you will have maybe heard me say that before. And I just want to remind you of it, because the power of what you bring to the table is unbelievable. And quite often you won't even recognize the amount that is. This is where creating something like a media bio really comes into play, because when you have it all on one page, you can't fight it. You can't fight how impressive that is. You can't fight actually the diversity of what you have done in your life that is really valuable to your clients. So when you are doubting yourself, when you are wondering, oh my gosh, what have I got to bring here? What have I got to offer? I'm so new in business. Really invest some time into getting your media bio ready, getting that document defined, and really clearly communicate all of the important parts of your journey so far, because what you will find then is that you find pride, and you find that actually you'll be able to step back, you'll be able to look at that person through my eyes where I see lots of incredible things, and you'll be able to then recognize actually what you are offering and what you are bringing and what value you can attach to that. Okay, number 3 is always come back to your mission. So you are very likely mission led, and that is something that's a long-term commitment. Having a mission where you are trying to make some sort of change, where you are trying to create something, where you are trying to make something different, better, improved for other people, that's a long-term goal. So you can't be expected to have achieved that on day one. But if you hadn't even started out, you wouldn't even be starting on that mission. That mission would be dead before it even started. So the fact that you are starting up and starting out is the start of that mission coming true. It's the start of you fulfilling that mission. It's the start of you making that change that you really want to make, of changing the needle on that dial, just that tiny bit of just improving people's lives to however much of a degree is possible in little tiny steps. If you didn't start up, you can't finish. So you can't achieve the mission that you set out to do, and you can't help the people who need to be helped. So if you're struggling with imposter syndrome, if you're struggling with confidence, if you're struggling with feeling like, well, actually, do you know what? I'm still so early in my journey. I'm just going to stay in my little box. I'm not really going to shout about what I'm up to. Please, please, please revert back to why you're doing this. Please take that moment to think about why you have thrown away the security of a 9-to-5, or why you have decided that that was wrong for your life, and why you have decided to take control of your life and also create a business that is going to empower other people, help other people, change the lives of other people. Because when you remember that, then you can cut away all the rest of the crap. You can cut away all the nonsense, all of the little voices in your head, the imposter syndrome kind of knocking, saying that this isn't something that you can do, that you have to stay playing small. If you're mission led, you won't play small because you don't agree that that's the right thing to do. Deep down, you know that you've got to shout up to make a difference. So that's what you've got to come back to. Working with startups for me is one of the most rewarding parts of the job, because what we see is we see the excitement, we see the passion, we see the drive and the desire of those missions, and the energy that comes with that usually at the start is absolutely immense. So this is my kind of call out to you to say, do not let that be tarnished, do not let that be tainted. Keep that mission, keep that passion. Really throw your heart and soul into it, and really step up into this. Really step up into owning your message. Really step up into getting that message out far and wide. Spread it around as many places as possible, using the free resources that PR can offer you to reach more people and to make more impact, because things get exciting when you do that. Things get exciting when you understand how to use PR to increase your reach and to increase your power of your message. You can become a PR powerhouse even if you have just started out.
Thank you for listening to PR Powerhouse with me, Jo Swan. If you want to feel empowered and supported and excited about getting in the press, come and join us in our free community over on Facebook at PR You Can Do It. I would absolutely love to see you there so I can help you take those next steps to getting in the media.